Anna Kasparian has left the left. My God, that literally no one could have seen coming. Holy. I suddenly see the flawed thinking of some of the left. I also witnessed their cruelty and hypocrisy in real time. These terrible traits that I had associated solely with my political opponents were obviously not exclusive to their tribe. I was stupid for ever thinking that was the case. That doesn't mean everyone on the left thinks or behaves in the way this small group of lunatics do. Far from it, but it does mean that there are factions and flaws on both sides of the aisle, and no one has a monopoly on truth. Then there was the insane reaction to one of my tweets in March of 2023. I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. This is true. Man, it's just another thing. I don't know what to say. People do this. People get like mind rotted. Basically, you have a bad experience with a group of people and then you decide to become the exact opposite politically. I understand why people do it. It's just kind of sad, I guess.
I don't know what my political labels are at this point, right? Because I feel like I don't really fit anywhere. And that's just full honesty. It's, again, very uncomfortable for me. And I want to say that out of any point in my adult life, this is probably the point where I'm the most malleable and open to new information because of what I've experienced over the last.
So this is some Dave Rubin stuff, right? Literally, because Dave Rubin also came from TYT. I'm feeling politically homeless. Oh, I feel like I'm not part of either side of the aisle. My mind is open and I'm absorbing all this info and the left is being so intolerant and canceling me. And you guys, you, the right, are being so accepting of me suddenly being really stupid and reactionary. You're so, oh.
All right, guys, so there's a saying that I have coined on this channel, okay? And if you hear it from anybody else, understand that they got it from me, okay? That I said this first. And I'm not the type of person that likes to brag about myself, okay? I rarely talk about myself because I really don't like talking about myself. Talking about myself is one of my least favorite topics, okay? But I think one of the observations that I've made that I think is probably one of the most important observations in the past 3 to 4 years of absolute lunacy, chaos, and insanity due to Democrats being in power and control, not just at the federal level, but also at the local level as well, too, is that the best way to red pill the left is to give them what they want. Unfortunately, in this country, it takes liberals having to experience the consequences of the insane cuckoo for Cocoa Puff policies of the Democrats, of these far leftists that are running some of these liberal cities into the ground. It takes them having to experience the consequences of those policies in order for them to realize that, hey, this is not good, right? That this is not right, okay? Like, for example, maybe we shouldn't be spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars if we don't want inflation, right? Or maybe, just maybe, we should not be opening our borders and that there are consequences to illegal immigration. Maybe defunding the police, if you want good cops, is not a good idea. Maybe being soft on crime, having no consequences for when criminals commit crimes, maybe that's not a good idea if we want to discourage crime, right? Unfortunately, again, people have to experience the consequences of bad policy in order to realize that the policy is bad. When most people in this country, or at least, you know, people that have common sense, conservatives already have realized that, hey, you know, this doesn't really make sense, okay? We probably should not do this because common sense, which apparently is becoming more exceedingly rare in this country. But there is a glimmer of hope, okay? Because you have individuals who are coming out against the left because they have experienced the bad policies of the left. Like, for example, when you talk about some of the black Democrats in Chicago, they are now basically full-blown Trump supporters because they have experienced the bad policies, the consequences of mass illegal immigration in their city.
This is Chicago. This is Chicago City Council. This is how they show up. This is how they ignore the citizens. This is how they break the law. And then they want to turn around and make like we are wrong for not supporting the Democratic Party. But this is what the Democratic Party looks like in the city of Chicago. Doing public speaking. They don't show up for a quorum. They on their cell phones That's Desmond Yancey right there, who's trying to sell out South Shore to super low income condos to make the city look like the projects. Zoom in on that clown. He's the most disrespectful individual that you've ever seen. Now he's gonna stand up. Oh, he looking at his boy Tommy, like what? What, you need to co-sign that he's a knucklehead? See, they engage in this type of rhetoric and nonsense. Look at him. That's the reason why we are $1 billion in debt. Because we got knuckleheads like Jason Irvin at the top. Yeah, put this on YouTube. We go to Chicago.
Make it go viral.
Famous. Y'all want to be famous, but disrespecting us and disrespecting your citizens? We're about to make y'all famous. We got 30-some days to get Trump in office. Come on, Trump.
Come on,
Come on,
Trump.
Republicans.
Come on.
Come on, y'all. Come on into Chicago. Set this off. Trump. Come on, Elon
Come on
Musk.
in here.
Come on,
Come
y'all.
on in here.
Come on, y'all.
Come
Get
on.
up in Chicago. Return this dread.
Yeah, so that is a great example of what experiencing Democrat policies will do to you, right? It will radicalize you. Yeah, I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. That's what it will do, okay? So that being said, we got to talk about Anna Kasparian, okay, who apparently is officially leaving the left. Now, we all kind of saw this coming, okay? Anna Kasparian has been speaking out quite a bit about the left and how crazy they have become. And a lot of people have speculated that she's no longer a leftist. Now she's basically coming out and confirming that, yeah, I'm leaving the left, okay? I'm, going to do my own thing because I get a whole lot of backlash for advocating for common sense on the left. Like, for example, when it comes to basic biology.
Term birthing person or pregnant person as a way to be more inclusive is somehow degrading to her as a woman.
There's a concerning trend of supposed left-leaning content creators or media personalities being a little bit fash recently. Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, who goes on impassioned rants about, women's rights and bodily autonomy and things, good messaging, dropped this absolutely horrible take. Like, I can almost guarantee she has never actually been referred to as a birthing person. People call her a woman. This is exactly what alt-right talking head weirdos say, and it's not based in reality in any way. Like, I know I'm a cis man, but come on, this isn't happening. You're literally parroting the same thing that a billionaire TERF says. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, so this has been coming for a long time now, right? And Anna Kasparian has wrote this long column, right, basically explaining her change. Now, I highly recommend anybody who is fascinated by Anna Kasparian and her political evolution to read it, because I think it is a great summary of how most people in this country should be thinking about the left and how unhinged they have become, right? I mean, if you are a person with, again, a basic level of common sense and decency, and you care about this country, right, and you don't want this country to completely fall off a cliff, then you probably should be thinking like Anna Kasparian, right? You probably should be thinking, maybe I just can't continue to get on board with this agenda, right, from the left, okay? So I highly recommend that people read this. I think it is fascinating. But Anna also did a podcast with Jillian Michaels, who's also in that same boat as a California leftist, liberal-leaning individual that experienced the bad policies of the left and realized that, hey, this is probably not a good thing to support, okay? Maybe, just maybe, this is not the movement for me. And they essentially have this bonding session on her podcast where they both talk about how terrible the Democrat policies have been in California and how terrible it will be for the country if their policies continue to expand outside of California. Take a look.
I grew up here.
Me too.
Okay. Nothing was crazy like this.
Right?
The homelessness, crime, the advocating for the medicalization of children, like advocating for late-term abort. Like, I'm never going to put a limit on. Like, what about 8 months? No, still no. Like, what mean still no? Like, what having a legal safe where? Come on. Like, there's a limit. Come on. Like, this madness. And I personally feel that I have lived through it, and Gavin Newsom is the tip of that spear.
Yeah, for sure.
Go. Take me from the top to the bottom. No one does it like you do. And the concern is that it goes from California to a federal problem.
Yeah, that should be a concern. And in fact, some of the failed policies that we've implemented here, unfortunately, have been exported to other states.
Right.
And I'll give you a quick example, because we have literally squandered $25 billion on the homeless issue over the last 5 years. And I say squandered because there was recently an audit that wanted to see, like, okay, where did the money go? Because over the last 5 years, we've spent all this money, but homelessness has exploded. Homelessness has increased by 58% since 2013. Okay, so obviously this money isn't going where it was supposed to go.
Right.
And so it turns out that the state government started giving out these grants not during, but after 2020.
Okay.
And the grants that they would give out to were these nonprofits, newly formed nonprofits in many cases, that were tasked with helping the homeless. Except some investigations found they weren't actually helping the homeless. And so when you have that experience here, right, in California, and you see how all of these politicians who have all of these friends, who run all of these nonprofits, who stole our money, when you see that, it's really hard to have these conversations about how we need to increase taxes on anyone.
But when Sean Hannity and Jesse Waters are willing to have a conversation about a hearing on health at the Capitol, and CNN tells me I'm anti-science, I mean, my God, where do you think I'm going to lean?
The first time I was pretty viciously demonized by my own side was when I opened up about, I've talked about this so many times, I feel bad repeating it, but it was really that big moment for me, right?
Yeah, mine was the you're a fat shamer because I said I didn't want Lizzo to die of diabetes. I was like, wait, when did we start celebrating?
And now she's getting healthy. Like, now she's working out.
I watched them attack her, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to start. Or say she's on Ozempic. I saw that happen.
Oh,
she's
I
like,
saw
I'm
that
not
too.
on Ozempic. I was like, can we just...
It was unexpected, like super unexpected. In 2022, it was around March, I was walking my dog. It was not quite dark yet, but the sun was setting. As I'm walking my dog, I see these two guys that were just kind of like moving around weirdly. They seemed kind of manic, and their clothes were tattered. So I knew that they were probably homeless. And I also knew that they're probably on something just based on like the twitchy way they were acting. But as I was bending down to pick up my dog's mess, one of the guys like grabs me by my hips, and he had an erection.
Oh, God.
And just starts like humping me. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I was terrified. I didn't have a weapon on me.
Yep.
Like, I had no way of defending myself. I didn't know how far it was going to go because it's two guys. I'm by myself with my little dog. It was one of the most terrifying things ever, because I'm pretty good at defending myself. In that moment, I just knew there was no option.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I opened up about this on the show, not really thinking much of it. And before I knew it, I'm starting to get these messages, and it's like really, really harsh stuff. And it's about how you are painting a picture of the homeless community. How could you be like this? These are your unhoused neighbors and they need help. A few people accused me of being racist when I had never disclosed the race of the individuals who did this to me. And in fact, they were white. And so like when they started accusing me of being racist, I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you assuming that the people who did this?
Of course.
Yeah, like, I think you might have a problem here.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that woke me up. Because I'm like, oh my God.
They eat their own, mama.
Some of the people.
They eat their own on the extreme left.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that you guys can guess that the extreme left, they're not having a good time coping with the reality of Anna Kasparian not only leaving the extreme left, but also trashing the extreme left on the way out.
Intelligent things, obviously, but she genuinely seemed to be happy. Now, I really do get the sense that she's bitter. I really get the sense that she's like, just not where she wants to be. I'm not sure why. It's kind of sad almost the more I think about it. But yeah, I just think it's like, she's projecting all of this onto the left. And I think that a lot of people, when they become right wingers, when they make this transition from a more liberal progressive person, a lot of times later in life, they'll make this transition into right wingers. A lot of times I do think it's out of bitterness. It's out of rejection. It's out of some feeling that you're not good enough and you have to scapegoat other people. That's how this stuff starts.
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. Now, I don't know why it took all of this for Anna Kasparian and Jillian Michaels and Elon Musk and others to see that the left is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs insane. Okay. I mean, this is something that I think that normal people should realize just by listening to them, right? If you were listening to these leftists 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, they were saying some of the same things they're saying today, right? They were just as extreme. Now, I mean, it has become more mainstream, right? It has become something that is more commonplace. The Democrat Party is essentially now like synonymous with the extreme left, right? I mean, I think that's the only difference. But the extreme left was the extreme left 10 years ago. And you should have known 10 years ago that, hey, when you implement all these policies, that you're not going to get good results, that disaster is going to happen. And that is what has happened in California. And I don't think it's a coincidence that you're seeing a vast majority of these leftists, these liberals that are leaving the left, they're coming out of California where they have the most extreme left policies, okay? And in my opinion, I am just hoping that a lot of people in this country that are on the left are thinking the same way that Jillian Michaels is thinking, that Anna Kasparian is thinking, that Elon Musk is thinking, that all of these people who used to identify with the left, who probably also are cured of their Trump derangement. That's a part of how you leave the left. You have to be cured of Trump derangement, right? Once you're cured of Trump derangement, you can see things clearly, right? For what it is, okay? You can actually see reality, okay? And that is what's happening, okay? And if that is the case, if you have a significant amount of people on the left who are thinking the same way that Anna's thinking and all the others, then hopefully that at the very least results in those people not voting for Kamala Harris and these leftists in these local elections and voting for Trump. But we'll see. Again, congratulations to Anna for kind of officially coming out, right, and saying, hey, I'm no longer part of the left. That doesn't mean that she's a part of the right. I don't think she's a conservative. But at the same time, she is somebody that is now kind of actively against the far left. And I think that that is a good thing. And to me personally, this is the best way, unfortunately, in 2024 to red pill a leftist, which is just to give them what they want. Give them what they want. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.